Welcome back everyone to the Hello World Guide. This is episode number, if I'm not wrong, this is episode number 13 of the Unreal Engine Beginner series, and in this video we are going to get a bit more forward with our gameplay of the game. So if you remember, in the last video we had it set up so that we can just basically go ahead and like shoot, and once the enemy dies he cannot like do anything to us, and we are kind of got an empty game. So we want to add like a system to create more enemies. How are we going to do that? Well, we have got we need to basically have it so that enemies are spawned randomly instead of just having one enemy that's standing. So in order to fix this problem, what we will have to do is like this. So I'm going to just go ahead and delete my enemy. Then I'm going to go under blueprints class. I'm going to right click and create a new blueprint, and you just want to have an actor, which is basically an empty blueprint that can be spawned in the world. You need to have an actor blueprint, and I'm going to call it enemy spawner. If I can get the spelling right. Okay, now I'm going to take this enemy spawner, put it in the game and make its location 0, and what we want to do is we basically want to make this enemy spawner spawn enemies. Now if I just move this enemy spawner up and move this enemy spawner a bit like around here, then let's first let's try spawning the enemies at the enemy spawner's position. So I'm going to open up the enemy spawner, and first we need to find out how do we actually go ahead and spawn enemies. So in order to do that, if you try like go to the begin play node and you go ahead and hit spawn actor from class. Now if you use this, you need to just select a class. You can select enemy, and once you do that, for the spawn transform you can go get actor transform, which gives us the location, rotation and scale of the spawner. And if you just do that, then and if I hit play, you should see that it does happen to spawn an enemy, but that enemy is kind of just for that you need to go under after this return value. This is the actual enemy, and you need to go ahead and add controller. Let me see. We have got spawn default controller. Use this spawn default controller method, and this should make everything work. Yeah. Oh, it's a bit slow for some reason. Okay, let me try again. Yeah, that works now. You can see now we have got like a working system. Now this works well for spawning the actual enemy, and now we need to actually do this procedure not at begin play but at a specific interval. So yeah, how are we going to do that? Well, in order to do so, we are going to actually, first of all, let me just create a custom event in here and call it spawn enemy, I guess, and then we are going to just use this event to actually do that like this, and yeah, this works pretty nice, and yeah, that looks awesome. So we have got this spawn enemy event, and if I try to go ahead and like say if I try to go ahead and take this, so you can see we've got this red thing here. Now what this is, so if I try to like go ahead and say let me just, okay, let's just try to so we want basically this to execute at specific intervals. So if I say call like if I say function like well, what I'm trying to find out is this, we've got casting, we've got time. Okay, we have got basically what we want to do is we want to go and say set timer. So set timer by event. Now if I go set timer by event and I try to go ahead and say start, so if I go and add in a begin play node here, begin play, and then I put a set timer by function. Now what this does by event, sorry, and for this event you can basically take this delegate and put it in the event. Now basically what this does is that it starts a timer, and we can select a time here like 5 seconds, and when that timer goes off, it automatically calls the provided event. And now if I play, after 5 seconds you should see that an enemy spawns. Oh yeah, it works. Okay, after 5 seconds an enemy spawns, and currently if it spawns 1 2 3 4 5, yeah, here it goes. Yeah, trying to hit him. Yes, and once you kill him, no other enemies spawn. But if you try to make it like looping, then what will happen is that as soon as the game starts, one enemy spawns and you try to kill him, and while you are doing this, another one should spawn. Yeah, and basically like that, you will try to kill this one, and then one more will spawn, and you'll kill that one, and this is basically like a game. So yeah, it looks pretty awesome. And we have got an enemy, and basically we have got like a working game, and our enemy spawns whenever like we actually do this. And if I try to go okay, oh okay, yeah, it's basically working. So you can see we have got like 3 enemies now with us. Okay, yeah, so basically this is working. So we have got like we have, if you don't kill enemies fast enough, then they will increase in time, in number. And yeah, this is basically like a game. Pretty awesome. By the way, one thing that I would like to point out here is that you may get these kind of errors, weird errors, when you complete your game. If you do that, then go under the enemy spawner, and before you go ahead and say spawn default controller, do check if the enemy is valid. So just go ahead and say, just say is valid, and make the use the command is valid, and use this macro, and then you can basically find out if the thing is actually valid by plugging this in here. And if it is valid, only then you need to do anything, and this should basically not cause any problems. So yeah, now we have got that. Then what I want to do is that now we want to need to create a track of the like the player skills. So how are we gonna do that? So in order to keep a track of the player's actual player skill count, what we are going to do is we are going to go under our enemy. We are going to actually implement this from inside of the enemy, and we are going to add after we destroy, before like we destroy the okay, let's say after we destroy this actor, when we basically receive our death event, before destroying the actor, actually we are going to go ahead and say cast to player. We are going to cast this to player, but we are going to cast our get player pawn. So we are going to get our player pawn, which is an instance of the pawn clause, and we are going to cast that to the player. And then we are going to take this and then we are going to say we are going to basically add in a function here which is called increase kill count, or actually you don't actually need to do that. We are going to just have a variable inside of player called kill count, or basically call it score. Okay, and each time we kill an enemy, we are going to change this type of score to be an integer, and this is by default 0. And each time we do that, we are going to go ahead and let's say get score. We are going to go ahead and increment. Let me just say increment. Increment basically means it's going to increase by 1. Increment int, and for this just basically like take the score of the player, get score, and then plug that in here. So I'm going to move you forward, this forward, and do this. And if I hit play now, and if I like go under here and let me just say let me add an event tick here. We have got an event tick in here. So what we are going to do is I'm going to get this whole thing, and we are going to put like take the whole event tick, and I'm going to put this here. And before we go ahead and do this, this is basically the shooting thing. Before we handle the shooting, I'm going to do one more thing, and I'm going to say print string, and we are going to print our score. We are going to print our score all the time, so that we always know what the score is. So just basically come on, get score, and then plug that in here. Yeah, so basically this will print the score all the time, and now we will know what the score is. So currently our score is 0. You can see it's basically printing continuously. And okay, here's the enemy. Yeah, and now the score is 1. And if I kill one more enemy, the score should increase to 2. And you can see that's basically working. So now we are going to delete this code that we added, and we are going to plug this back in here. And what we need to do now is we need to basically go under our UI, and I'm going to open up my main game UI, and in here I'm going to add in a text here. This text is going to basically say when you add a text, you have got this content here. I'm going to, for the content, I'm going to say score 10. Yeah, something like that. And I'm going to go under here and make sure you have got size to content turned on. This way it will be the size of the actual content basically. And for the anchored, I'm going to anchor it to the top right corner, and I'm going to set the location to 0, but I'm going to change the alignment to 1 and 0, by the way, 1 on the x, which makes it on this side. And then we are going to increase the position on the x to something like -100, and that on y to something like -50. Negative 50, this needs to be 50. Okay, and then I'm going to go under the appearance of the text, then go under font, and then I'm going to change the size to something like 50, I guess. That looks kind of awesome. Okay, that's great. So now I'm going to actually go under this text and I'm going to hit bind, and we're going to hit create binding, and this basically gives us the text which says the name of the function is a bit weird. By the way, if you go under the graph, then here we have got just the functions like that. You can change the names of these. For example, you can just say get health for this, and for this you can just say get score. And anyways, I'm going to open up my get health function and I'm going to copy this, and then I'm going to go under my get score function. I'm going to paste this here, and for this cast to player, and then I'm going to take this and I'm going to say for the player you're going to get the score. Okay, after we get the score, what we are going to do is we are going to use a function called build text, like to text. We have got integer. Okay, like we got like build text, no text. Okay, if I try to go with like to text, then it just converts it to text. Okay, so you need to take this to score and use a build string. So this build string will basically get an append to, and I'm going to add score for this, and then I'm going to go here. I'm going to take this return value and I'm going to plug this in here, and this will convert this string to the text, because the text is a different kind of variable. You don't need to worry too much about that. But anyways, now this should basically work. So it will add the score and then it will add the actual score afterwards. So if I play, you can see it says score 0, and now as soon as I start killing enemies, okay, here it comes. Okay, score is now 1, and kill this one. Score is 2. So yeah, that's working, and in the next video we'll try to make a death system for our actual player. So stay tuned for that. Make sure to like and subscribe and share this video with other people who want to learn Unreal Engine. And this is pretty much it for this video, and bye.